Good evening, role players. This is Thack Totem here with some ideas about how I generate some of my content for random generation stuff. This in particular is a Thursday, so I like a little bit of alliteration. We're doing treasures on Thursday and Tuesday, and Friday will be hex mapping and city design. Saturday will be the Avera setting that I came up with. Sunday is Dark Sunday. Monday will be map making. Tuesday will be treasures. Wednesday will be Woeful Wednesday with Worlds of Woe or Domains of Dread, if you want to call it that. And so this being Thursday, I wanted to explore a little bit about how I handled treasure generation. So this is based roughly off of the equivalence of a treasure composition of coinage, where 100 copper pieces equals 10 silver pieces equals 1 gold piece equals 0.1 platinum pieces. Now in the US currency system, 100 copper pieces is 100 pennies. 10 silver pieces would be 10 dimes, and 10 dimes equals $1, and 1 gold piece would be $1. And that fits nicely with the fact that in US currency we use copper for pennies, a silver coin, one of our early silver coins, there's the nickel and then there's the dime. The dime is a 10-cent piece, and they're 10 dimes to $1. And the US has a $1 coin, a couple different $1 coins, but the most commonly used $1 coin these days is like the Sacagawea dollar, which is a golden color. So using that exchange is pretty straightforward in converting those to US currency. We don't have an equivalent for a platinum piece, but that is what it is. Maybe just a $10 bill. But the equivalent exchange rate that I'm using here, where I have a note for 1 gold piece equals $6, that comes from a weird little experiment I did for figuring out how to price items in D&D. Okay, so bear with me on this one. This is a weird one. In 1974, the year that Dungeons and Dragons was created, $1, if you were to take that US dollar from 1974, its purchasing power is about $6.18 now. So a 1974 dollar had $6.18 purchase power. So I roughly round that up to or down to $6 even. And here's where it gets kind of fun. I went online to Amazon, and you can do things like Etsy and other sites like that. And I did, like, my first approach was just to look up on Amazon, how much would a battle axe cost? And yes, you can window shop for battle axes on Amazon, believe it or not. So what I ended up finding was, according to D&D Beyond's table of purchasing items, a battle axe would be about 10 gold pieces, I think was the price they put that at. And would you believe that looking on Amazon at battle axes, there's a wide range of prices for battle axes. So the one that we generally hear people refer to as mall ninja battle axes, these are like the cheap press form decorative novelty axes that they are made of metal, but I wouldn't expect them to cut paper even if you chopped it on a wooden chopping block. Those I would almost call goblin grade battle axes. Those tend to run about $30. If you're looking for a more really well done bearded axe or something like that on Amazon, you're probably going to pay $70 to $80 for those. And so that $60 range that you get when you roughly take a $6 for every dollar, and a D&D Beyond battle axe price range is 10 gold pieces. A gold piece is $6 roughly. $60 is a good range to do that. And so I don't know how well it holds up across the board of purchasing prices of things, but I feel like with the idea of using Etsy or Amazon, you can price things reasonably well by just figuring out how much it would cost on Amazon and kind of dividing that by 6, and that's your gold piece value. And so that's sort of what I do, kind of to roughly estimate where price ranges of certain things would be. But let me also note here that you can use that as a means of also calculating, if you look on Amazon or similar sites, or you can look at, you can get the item new, or you can get a used item. And the used item is something that you can actually use for a shop purchasing items that the player's attempting to sell. And that's a good way to really make your prices work out right. And so that's one of the ways I manage my treasure values in building my tables here. One of the other things I will say is that in those reference manuals, they say that a campaign roughly has 50 to 52 hordes per campaign from level 1 to 20 is where I run that estimate. So I kind of built out a set where on a level 1 campaign, at level 1 of a campaign, you get 1 treasure at level 1. At level 2, there's 1 for level 2 treasures, 2 for level 3, 4, 5, 6, 3 for 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and then 4 for 15, 16, 17, 18, and 19. 20, at that point it doesn't even matter whether you keep track of it. You can just keep giving them whatever treasure you roll up. And I built a series of tables that were scalable by level. So an example of a treasure that could be generated with my system was, 1,238 copper pieces, 1,100, 11,000, woo, that might be a typo. I think that might be a typo. I might have overdone that one. But I built this table out so that you have your coins, your gems, and your gem value runs about 1,996 gold pieces. And then art objects, mundane objects, and magic items, and a level for that treasure to be generated at. And you might be asking why I have such numerical precision on my coinage, and that is in part due to the ability to round up and down. So if you use a random generation table and you generate the same number 2 times in a row, the first time you might have 1,238 copper pieces. The second time you might have 1,300 copper pieces. By rounding that, you're changing it so that it doesn't ring a bell for the players. Not that anybody's keeping that much bureaucratic information about their individual coinage, but you should be able to roughly round these in a few places to make it so that it looks like a different treasure each time. But I've built a set of tables for coins, gems and jewelry, mundane items like art objects, and mundane items and magic items. The distinction I'm making with mundane items is I think it should be possible to find a treasure hoard where there's an axe in it that's not a magic weapon, it's just one of the other things found in the hoard. So you could find an axe, a crystal ball, a rug, things that are it's not a flying carpet, it's just a rug. And so I have the category of mundane items and magic items listed here. And so I will go through some of these generations that I've used this on so far, and I will do that all on Tuesday, I think. But for now, this'll do for tonight's description of treasures.